but having an enterprise account where we're not like having to run a report from here, pull this down from there, and being able to have everything in sync, to have that like data is insane.
From a manager standpoint is one, it takes you hours to just be able to figure out, okay, what do I need fixed? What are the flag loans? What loans have been sitting? What loans need attention? Why do they need attention? And now you can do that in minutes. The truth is when you have to look at Excel spreadsheets, it's tough.
You know, one really cool thing has been Claude, right? We've been using it and talking about it, but we've never had it on an enterprise level and having all the connectors to everything. You know, it's all been Alexa off. Too many connectors.
The robots don't go to sleep.
Robots don't, they don't stop. They don't get sick. No, but I think one of the things with what we started doing was, you know, we've been using Claude and we've been using it more like on a personal level with our subscription, but having an enterprise account.
Yep.
And now with enterprise account, you know, everything, Encompass, Loan Vision, all these systems that we have are all linked together, where we're not like having to run a report from here, pull this down from there, and being able to have everything in sync, to have that like data is insane.
Yeah, right now we're able to, one with just the Encompass connection, we're able to build a full manager view. So not only does it automatically pull down all the files that are flagged, but it pulls every file in, tells me an update on every one of the files and where it sits and how long it's been there, but then it flags anything I want, like appraisals that need to be back because they're past expected date, RESPAs that need to be signed, rates that need to be updated. Anything you can think of as a manager that a loan officer or anybody in the team has to do to update, CDs that need to be ordered by the processor that hit all the necessary requirements to order one. All those automatically feed into a dashboard, and then it automatically gives me a list of emails to be sent. And then all I have to do is just click the ones I want to send, and then Claude in Chrome will then go into my Outlook on the web and send every one of those emails out. And then it comes from me and it looks like it's from me so that they can respond back and give updates to those things. So a lot of the things that happens is when, as from a manager standpoint, is one, it takes you hours to just be able to figure out, okay, what do I need fixed? What are the flag loans? What loans have been sitting? What loans need attention? Why do they need attention? And now you can do that in minutes. So you can set up a artifact that then pulls all those into one place that you can then review and then determine on what you want to do with it. So it saves you hours there. You don't have to go find those files. It automatically finds those files for you every single day. And then it takes the human element out of it. So in case you're missing something, you know, because you may have forgot to go to this or go look at that, it won't do that. All you gotta do is look at your dashboard every day and it tells you exactly where everything's at. On top of the other dashboards that we've built out. So now we're building a processor dashboard out that, you know, tells them and red flags them. I know that yesterday I threw a contract into my chat and said, hey, can you reference this Encompass file? Here's the loan number and verify that all these fields are filled in correctly. And so it pulled all the data off, including the dates of closing, the earnest money deposit, the amount the realtors are getting paid, every field ID that they could scrape off that contract, and then reference the field IDs inside of Encompass to make sure that that thing was ready for RESPAs.
You know, so like one thing that we have to do is a lot of forecasting. You know, there's a lot of, you know, making sure that your P&Ls are accurate, making sure that loans are booked correctly. There's still a lot of manual data entry points, or even how things are even mapped in. If they're mapped incorrectly, there could be flags. So, you know, anytime you think money isn't right or something, you get this unsettling feeling, and you get nervous, and you feel like you might be getting screwed. And a lot of it's innocence, it's mistakes, right? You know, everyone makes mistakes, it's okay. But, you know, just creating some automation tools that literally give us all the flags. Hey, these ones are good, these ones may be a little off. And then you can present that like to an accounting department and say, hey, this is what's wrong. And a loan officer could do this, a branch manager, whoever's running the books for a branch could do that. And again, it all comes down to time. You know, like segueing off of some of the things that Matt said, you know, when you get in the middle of doing this, it does take hours, but the problem is, what are your interruptions during the hours? This business is not, you know, you're moving, there's 100 things going on at once, and when you carve out that time and you gotta separate from that, and when your mind's wrapped around like going through a pipeline or going through that and you get interrupted having to do something else, finding the time to go back and do it again, then that's where the lag comes.
The other thing that's really cool about it is it could use forecasting. So It pulls not only data from your loan pass and from your loan vision and your historicals, but it'll also pull in all the data from your Encompass and all your loans that you currently have acting and all the information from your Domo. And so it'll pull all that data, put it in one place, and then you can create a forecast of what your P&L will look like in 3-6 months. And so that you know, okay, I need to kick it into high gear so I'm not in the negative, or I have the money set aside to do a big spend on leads or on something you want to utilize to improve your business. So the forecasting part of this is ridiculous since it is paired with all of the databases, including the P&L database.
Your CRM, like literally everything. So, and data integrity means everything, because everyone does everything off of feel, right? You think, like a marketing strategy, right? Or you think you have money, you feel, right, that you have enough money, but then all of a sudden you forget about, what your upcoming payrolls are or what other expenses, your one-shot expenses that hit you.
Yeah, and that doesn't include all the crazy stuff that's coming. This is just off of current stuff that all of you guys use in your normal day-to-day, with just being able to pair your connectors and use through connectors, pair everything in Claude, and then create projects, create artifacts, that then give you output data. It saves you so much time, and your mind is just so much clearer to focus on growth instead of focus on finding the issues.
And I think there's another component, and you also create consistency.
Yeah.
So when you're consistently sending out reports and sending out, these are the rate locks expire, all that stuff's happening every day because you're not having these interruptions and being sidebarred, as your organization just becomes running a lot more efficiently.
Yeah, that's correct.
Having information like at my fingertips creates a lot less pressure. You know what I mean?
So Todd used to have a day. He spent the whole day basically to have what he would call P&L day, and he's working on payroll. And so that day was don't talk to Todd day. And it was six hours of him just breaking down the P&Ls, making sure everybody's getting paid correctly, making sure all of our branch managers' P&Ls are right, so they're making the correct money they should. And now that's all gone. So for Todd, I've drastically seen this.
Because it's tense, because when you have like multiple spreadsheets and you're trying to juggle it all, and all this stuff is up in your head, and then I just didn't want to be interrupted. So yeah, they saw that.
You gotta sit there and focus.
Yeah, you gotta focus and shut down. Taking that away, that once a month, I probably added maybe 3 or 4 years the back end of my life.
Yeah. The truth is when you have to look at Excel spreadsheets, it's tough.
Yeah.
Because you got to make sure every cell's right. If you get interrupted, you may lose where your track is, and now you're screwed. Now you got to start all over. So I get it, but now you don't do any of that anymore. It's all done automatically for you.
And the good thing is, I could train someone to do this.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I could train a branch manager if he wants to be a little more cognizant of running, know what his numbers are. I could give him a tool and train him, and it's easy.
Yep.
So if something ever, God forbid, happens to me,
Yep.
the whole thing doesn't get unraveled.
Yep. Makes it easy.
And even the things that you do.
For me, it's drastically changed my day because, there would be 2 or 3 hours, 3-4 days a week where I would set aside to review the pipeline to see if any issues or flags. And now I don't have to do that. Now it's automatically in front of me every day. On top of that, I can see everybody's KPIs. So instead of having to create a system to then pull the KPIs and have them do this, have them do that, it's all automatic. And then the stuff that they have to self-report, like how many realtor or referral partner meetings they had, how many events did they attend, all those KPIs that we track, it's all done through a Microsoft form that feeds right into my Quad. So it's literally all pushing to one database for the KPIs, and that's creating myself a dashboard for KPIs. So it makes this drastically easier, and it's all in one place.
Well, there's a lot of companies still now today. I know big branches that work off of Google Sheets and shared Excel forms and things like that. And I get it, but it's like, that is very inefficient, and one person could screw it all up.
Yeah, and with it pairing to the CRM too as well, it can make movement happen with the clients as well. And we can watch it all happen live.
And it also built it out a way, with your set of eyes.
Yeah.
Because you're probably one of the most thorough people with going through a pipeline and going through it that I've ever met in my whole career. Now another manager, right, you can give them this tool, they could operate their branch you take someone that was like a 3rd grade level manager.
Just so we're clear, I can literally say, okay, go look at this file. Did they do this? Did they do this? Did they do this? Did they do this? No phone call to them, completely keep them active on income driving activities. And I could have Claude review that file and see if they ran the findings with assets. increase the income. Did the 50 different things that I'll do to maneuver a file to try and see if I can get the loan to go from refer to approve, or get the loan to work, or make the loan DTI. All of those things I can do just by asking my Claude, because it has access to those loans.
That elevates everybody. I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it elevates your game, and again, it creates efficiencies. I don't think this stuff makes people, and I think there's a misconception, people, and it drives me nuts. They think that, all this stuff, it's going to make someone dumber, this and that. It makes you way more efficient, and it gives you superpowers. Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's what a lot of it's done.
So a lot of the freedoms that's opened up for me is giving me the ability to do more business movement. So we're able to get into the effective recruiting movement. We've started some monthly recurring meetings. We've started some monthly recurring networking events. We're able to get out on the public and do some CEs. So I'm able to get out of my desk doing basically non-income driving activities and increase my ability to drive income into the business. On top of all the projects that we're able to build out. One of those being the Home Pass stuff, where it's going to be a big marketing plan for our group and for anybody that works here. We've had some really good, of course, one of the big things we're able to do is move here to Revolution and also partner with Albie Stasek, which is huge, and Jay Kinder and their Honey Badger Nation. So, one of the things that we're able to do is, make a partnership there so that we can grow this thing even bigger than before. One of the things that, freeing myself up has given me the ability to do is, one, be present enough to be available to help grow this partnership that we have with Jay and Albie, and also create, downlines and build out, plans for the growth of that division, along with plans of the growth of our consumer direct department that we're going to have. That's going to be able to help agents to go ahead and take their database and actually make money off of it through refinances where they currently can't, and along with a lot of the different processes and plans that we're putting together for the Rise division. So we've been able to focus on that growth, creating that hierarchy, and putting together that business plan to grow this thing pretty big.
And I think it's also helped expand your mind a lot, right? So helping other agents we work with and bringing in new loan officers, like showing them different tools and stuff that we didn't even think of a couple of years ago. There's a lot of things, so just the way the business is approached is a way different model now than it was 3 or 4 years ago. A lot of people are still doing it the old way, but being able to share that and see people grow with it, it's pretty amazing.
For us, getting the employees, the corporate club has been huge.
Well, it's been a fight. It was a fight to get people in ChatGPT to first they all wanted to just look up and use it as a big search engine or make pictures. Now it's evolved to a place where everyone's trying to figure out how to get their business better.
I think one of the biggest issues in mortgages is people can't use it for mortgage because they don't have an enterprise version that can connect to their database, because it's non-compliant if it's not an enterprise version, right? So now that these guys have the ability, and these girls, it's been wild. They really want it. Everybody's up our butt to get it. Because with connectors, it drastically changes the effectiveness of your AI. It takes it from a chatbot or a Google search or a reference, and now it makes it an active worker for you. And that's really where these guys got to get used to, and anybody in this industry has to get used to. You're not going to no longer be that point or that employee. You're going to manage agents that are those employees. And I pretty much, guarantee that we're one of the first people starting to do that. And it's going to be great for everybody this year.
And a lot of people that are using it right now, they aren't doing it the compliant way. They just have their own private one. Mm-hmm. And I know they're just dumping information in there. You know that they are on every business, not just mortgage. It's across the board.
That's a huge privacy policy issue.
So, being able to have it, do it compliantly, and have it all linked, I don't know anybody that's doing it. Right now, if you want to, again, stop doing it the archaic way, the way everyone's been doing it, having Claude, having all the connectors, really kind of going where this industry is going, because the industry is shifting, and it's shifting extremely fast, and it's going in a way different direction than it. The days of someone closing, 4 or 5 loans is gone. Loan officers are going to be closing, 30, 40 loans efficiently. Processors, closing, 40 loans a month. Those days are gone. They're going to be closing 250 loans a month by having all the right tools. We would love to talk with you and kind of share what we have and what we could do.
Yeah, if you are currently not utilizing AI, because this Claude version is level 1 for us. Level 3 is coming in the next 69 days, and that's going to be a full build out. where loan officers don't even have to work in the loan operating system or in the point of sale system. They'll have their own database, own loan officer assistant agent that they work with on a daily basis that does all the work for them. If that's something that interests you, so you can build your pipeline, build your business, and actually focus on what makes you money, which is having those relationship meetings and building relationships with not only the clients and helping them have a better borrower experience, but also with the referral partners. If that's something that interests you, reach out, because we not only have the AI stuff to help you build that up, but we also have some crazy new tools coming your way with that Cooperate stuff and the Rise division that can help you really drastically change your referral partners' lives.